Hi, I'm going to talk to you today about adding a Twitter feed to your course to possibly extend the conversation of what you're talking about during the lecture or beyond the lecture itself. Twitter is a great way to sort of take the temperature of the students that are in your course and what they're thinking at the time, and also to look and see what other people are thinking around the world. So the way to begin is to go to twitter.com and then resources. You can find this at the bottom of the pages if you're a Twitter user. This is assuming that you already have a Twitter account and that you're using it. On the resources page, what we're going to look at is the widgets. And then what we want to do is we want to create a widget for my website. Okay? And so you can do a profile widget that will show a particular user's posts. A faves widget show off your favorite tweets, or you can create a list of tweets to show. The one I think that we're going to be interested in is this search widget, which is sort of dynamically displays tweets that are coming out of Twitter at a particular time. So let's click on this search widget. Okay. By default, it's going to show a query and a title and a caption. So the first thing that we're going to want to do, unless you want to search for double rainbows, is you want to modify the results. So what I would recommend doing, if you wanted to limit this to your particular class, come up with a hashtag or a phrase that would be mostly unique for your class and ask the students to use that in their tweets. So I'm going to use one at bio100. Okay, and immediately I'll click test settings, and so now we've changed the query to bio100, and let's change the title to your bio class and welcome. Now notice that as I was typing this, these were being modified up here. Once we're happy with our search results, and notice that this is sort of a generic term, so this is why you'd want to use something that's more specific to your class, but it is pulling back some results. Next thing you want to do is you want to go to Preferences, and you're going to want to set particular preferences, poll for new results, meaning go out there and look for new results that are coming back. Include a scroll bar. That's if you want to have students go back and look at ones, you can click yes. Some of these things don't show up in the preview, like the scroll bar, so we'll get into that. You can have a timed interval, and the lowest setting that you can have for the timed interval is 30, which is 30 seconds in between tweets. But you can modify these. The next thing you want to set is that you could customize the way that you want this to look. So I'll show you how that looks. So that you have the shell background, this is this part. If you want to see what that looks like, you can click on that, and then you can start going through a bunch of settings. I'm partial to blue, so let's leave it at blue. You can change all these, so you can change the color of the links, right? So we can make that more of a hot red or a nice blue or a green. It could show up, and then you can modify those as you see fit. And then finally you can change the dimensions. Now the dimensions won't update within the preview, so let's just leave them sort of how they are for now, and then let's see what it looks like once we actually embed it in your page. Okay, so let's assume that you've got all your settings, that your query's done right, that you put your title and your caption, your preferences, and your appearance is all good. So the last thing that you'd like to do, or you need to do, is grab the code. Okay, so unless you're going to stick this on a Blogger account, what you're going to want to do is that you're going to want to click and select everything inside of this box, and then copy this. Okay, now we're going to paste it into an HTML page. I started this out by talking about how you can add it to your course, and so let's talk about adding this into the blocks setting inside of your Moodle course. So I already have a tab up here open that I have a Moodle course that I'm logged into, and so what I want to do is I want to put this conversation over on the side over here so it doesn't interfere with this main window, but something that we can see how it works. So you'll want to turn editing on. I already have editing on this side. And then down here at the add a block, let's scroll down till you see HTML. Okay? This is going to add an HTML block. Okay, and you'll notice that there's nothing in the HTML block once we add it. So what we'll need to do immediately is edit this block. So let's click on this icon. Your icons may look different depending on which theme you have in your course, but it's basically the same process. So we want to check the settings for this. So your block title, this is what's going to be displayed at the title of the block. So let's just put Twitter. And we could put Twitter conversation or something like that. And now we're going to want to paste the code. If we were to paste it in here like this, it wouldn't render correctly because this WYSIWYG editor will modify the code so that it'll display exactly as we paste it in. So what we're going to want to do is click the HTML button, and it's going to bring up a source code editor. And then we're going to paste in our code and then hit update. Okay, it doesn't look like anything's displayed in here because it hasn't updated properly yet. But trust me that it's in there. Then we're going to hit Save Changes. Okay. Now it's going to go back out to our course, and we can scroll down and look at the Twitter feed. Now, if this doesn't show immediately, I found that if you click on the name of your course again to get it to reload the page, it should start displaying your widget here. Notice that this widget that we have set for this particular theme is slightly wider than our theme would allow. So let's modify that. So we don't have to go back to the Twitter widget to do this. We can do this directly in code. So if we click on the Edit button again, and now you'll see that the WYSIWYG editor in this particular browser has gone away, and we just get to the code. If you see the WYSIWYG editor, you could just click on the code, the HTML portion, to get to this editing, and scroll down and look for width setting. So we have our width set to 250 pixels. It doesn't say pixels, but this is what it's in. So let's change this to 225 pixels wide, and then hit Save Changes. Okay, so let's scroll down here. It's not displaying again, so let's click our info. This is just, it's probably a browser issue more than anything. So let's scroll down here, and at 225 pixels wide, this is pretty good width for this particular theme. So if we wanted to have this conversation sort of front and center in our course, we wouldn't want to necessarily leave it down here. So the last thing that we can do is we can move this block up or down depending on what you want to do with it. So let's click the Move button. Alright, and then it says, okay, where would we like to move it to? Depending on how important you want this to be in your course, you could move it to the very top. So let's just do that. Let's just click on that, and now it's going to move this widget or this block to the top here, so as students come in, they can sort of see a running commentary for the course based on the search Bio 100. This is a pretty good way to keep students engaged. You can use this as a way to look at what students are saying about your course, for them to ask questions while it's going on. They can have this conversation outside of class to continue talking about the lecture that you just had. There's many ways to do this, but this example was just to show you how to get this embedded in your course.